Well, this was actually a project, a property that Lionsgate had. And they sent me like 20 scripts, 20 different screenplays, and I read through them, and this one stuck out as one of the projects that I was interested in doing first or right away. And then I liked it. You know, like when I read it, it stuck out in my head. Because I spent the weekend, I read eight scripts that weekend, and out of those 8, this was the one screenplay that I felt like was really strong. And then when I didn't realize that writer was attached as a director, and then that was something else to digest, because I had the opportunity to work with some really great directors. You know, I've been blessed to work with Jim Sheridan, Joe Schumacher, few really good directors, you know. That's the beauty of being a part of Tree Division and owning my own production company. You know, I went through the trouble of finding an equity investment that allowed me to actually make the collaborations with Lionsgate so I could say when the film is going to actually go. And it provides an opportunity for me to actually still have a music career in the middle of, filming, because I can say that this project is going to go in March, so I'm going to go tour February, and then I'll be back in March to shoot the film. And the majority of the projects that I've seen that were away from Tree Division, for me, they moved. They never stayed in one place. Like the initial point that we were supposed to shoot changed to 2 months later, or, and that was uncomfortable for me, because I'll spend my time preparing for the actual film, and then it goes back 2 months, and then I'm like, okay, like what are we doing? And then when you're a part of the actual production where you can greenlight the film and you got the support of Lionsgate, it allows you to say, no, it starts on the 4th, and have it actually start there. A lot of people may be afraid of working with directors when it's their first actual project, but because it's such a passion project for him, he's been really well prepared for it. And like as important as the film would be for a new artist or a new talent acting in it, it's that 10 times that for Mike, because he wrote this screenplay years ago, and it's been waiting for an opportunity to actually shoot it, and then it seems like he's fell into a space where he can have his dream cast with me and Bruce Willis and Randy Couture and Ryan. He's excited about everybody. And I had the opportunity to sit through all of the casting for every other role in the actual film, so, because I'm actually producing the project also. So I was there to sit in Los Angeles to go through everybody reading and sorting through who I thought had really interesting performances before Mike made his decision on the final decision on who he felt should go. Well, what makes the character different is he has he's at a point where it's a conflict or a struggle with religion. That he ends up in the church following the shooting of Dave, and the priest comes over to him and asks him, is there like who he's praying for? He says for a friend, and the priest says that that he's in a better place, and he says, how do you know? And that statement was a reflection of his confusion. He's in the church because obviously he believes in God, because he was taught to. But the circumstances that he's under makes him doubt at different points what he should do and what he shouldn't do. And I thought it was interesting, because it goes all the way through, even down to the cross that he wears, is what actually the bullet hits, and something that his mom gave him. So to me the story was exciting, and it offers something that none of the characters that I had played to this point, had within their, the actual substance of the character. Well, working with Bruce Willis has been amazing for me. I had a chance to, away from actually shooting, to hang out with him. Went to dinner a few times, hung out and talked. And it made both of us more comfortable going into actually, working together. And I don't know what to say outside of expecting him to deliver a great performance every time. And we changed it a lot. Like, we changed the screenplay and the actual scenes around a little bit to make it real. And I don't want to say that like the actual writer of the project didn't make it real, because he's also the director, Mike Gunther, and I get all kind of feedback and fever from him for saying that. So what I really want to say to you is, we just made slight modifications for performance purposes to make it feel interesting. Working with Ryan was interesting. When he got here day one, we went to eat and we came back and we sat with the director to talk about the script and realized that he had the fourth version of the screenplay, that we weren't even shooting that film. Like, we back on the first draft, so he was like pissed. And then, he called his agent and gave them fever, and then following day it was like, he was kind of lost a little bit because he had created motivation for the character that was based on a different film project. And the character didn't change, it was just different circumstances, motivations, and situations. So he came back together for the first day, and then everything rolled smooth from there. But I think anybody would be pissed if they found out they were shooting a different movie when they got there. Well, music, the idea is done pretty fast. The song is created in 30 or 45 minutes. If the music has inspired you to write, it'll usually come out a lot faster. Film, you get a chance to critique your work. You read it, you rewrite it, you read it, you rewrite it. You can take your time. And I think I'll be more successful in film than I was in music. I'll say that openly. It may not happen as fast as it happened, because my first album is the largest debut in hip-hop album, but I will be more successful in film than I've been in the past in music.
What's your secret?
Well, I'm persistent. I don't accept no as an answer. No means try again. I hope they realize that I'm a little bigger than usual, because it's on like the really, really big screen. And can identify with how handsome I'm becoming. And can see like my Coca-Cola colored slanted eyes are enchanting when those bright lights are hitting them. And I really hope this just does great things for my love life.
Well, good luck to you on that.
Thank you. I'll get back to you to tell you if it's working.
Great. You do a lot of your stunts in this movie. You're doing a lot of chasing, and
I think they got him.
Well, I have a writing partner as well, Mike Behrman. He co-wrote it with me. We were just sitting around about 3 years ago, and we wanted to do a little story. Obviously, I've been in the business for about 15 years, and in the action side of the business. And I wanted to get a shot to jump in the first seat and be a first unit director. And so we just got together, and I had this idea, and we just started brainstorming it out, and it all kind of came to life about 3 years ago. And then we couldn't get really anyone to read the script, and it was that that long process of doors closing on you, and and pass, and then so I just said, hey, let's shoot a short. So last year I shot a short film, and based on this script, kind of condensed it all, a 15-minute short, submitted it to the film festivals, and it got a lot of recognition. It won awards, and I think that kind of stirred the pot for people to then read the script. And then obviously Grindstone got a hold of it, Barry Brooker and Stan Whitley, and they got involved. And then from there they teamed up with Randall Emmett, obviously, and Curtis Jackson, and they struck a deal with, I don't know all the legal gist of how it all happened as far as Lionsgate and their involvement, but they are really the guys that made all this possible for me. You know, without them, you know, obviously I wouldn't be sitting here now directing my movie. So that's kind of the, you know, Cliff Note version of it. Well, Grand Rapids is cold. I'm not gonna lie to you. And being from Florida, it's really cold for me. I've never been here. It's a beautiful city. I really didn't know what to expect until I got off the plane. And then when I got here, I was like, wow, this is a really pretty city. It's small, but it kind of gives you all the things we needed to bring this story to life. You know, it's based in Detroit, so it kind of has that city feel. Obviously, it's, you know, much cleaner and not as gritty. But I think, you know, it being summertime and snow on the ground and all that, it's really has added a great look to our film. Well, obviously I came from the action background. I started as a stuntman, and then I jumped into stunt coordinating and fight choreography, and then jumped into second unit directing. So, you know, obviously some of the movies that I've done are, you know, Elektra, Fast and Furious, XXX, I mean, Underworld. So I've been around, you know, action at a whole different level. So I think that, and you learn to work. There's all kinds of moving parts when it comes to stunts. So I think that you really have to have this team that works well together to be able to pull it off, because each guy has a job to do. So I think when you get into this position, as far as a first unit director, when it comes to the action sequences, they just, you know, because I've been doing them for so long, it just seems to fall into place a little faster. It's like I can catch up on my day. And then I can concentrate more on story, because I kind of have that as my go-to thing, you know. And but you know, they're both equally as challenging. Action is its own animal, as well as, you know, telling a story and trying to get the performance out of actors is a whole different level of brain power. But I'm enjoying both. But they both kind of coexist. You know, they both coexist for sure. You know, I use some ability from the action world to help me pull performances out of guys, and then I also use that format of being able to shoot fast because of the second unit experience I've had. So it ties together well when you have a movie and you don't have a long time to shoot. It's a very tight schedule. So I think all those things help me in such a big way that I could execute this movie at the level that I'm able to. Yeah, the story came about, you know, I've been involved in a lot of like comic book kind of feel movies, you know, a lot of CGI, you know, big stunts, very popcorn summer blockbusters. And, you know, to come up with this idea was more of a story about, I just want to do a guy's kind of raw underground movie, you know, and with no special effects, no CGI, none of that world really, and just tell a good story. So it's about three boys that grow up together, you know, young men that grow up together, and they kind of live on the other side of the tracks, and you know, they're struggling to make money. They got their hands, you know, in things they shouldn't have, and they basically get over their heads. They pull off a diamond heist, and one of them is more over his head than the other two, and kind of betrays his childhood friends and shoots them and leaves them for dead. And with that, one of them doesn't die and one of them does. So Sonny's character comes back and revenges his best friend's death. And along that, there's some twists and turns. He ends up being a fish out of water by him going around town and trying to find Vince, which is the guy that kind of betrayed him. He's kind of unturned some things with the mob that he wasn't in counter on. So he's got like a lot of things happening. He's got the mob after him, he's got Vince after him, there's a lot of things that are kind of converging to create just this different, unique movie that we haven't really seen before. So it's not just a revenge movie, it's more of, you know, it's kind of, you know, lack of a better words, a love story. It's about three best friends that grew up together, and to have one betray you and wanting to know why that happened is kind of a heavy topic. But along that way, he gets off track and he kind of stirs up some shit he shouldn't stir up. Obviously, I'm a fan of a lot of directors out there, and you know, Tarantino and Scorsese and all that, and I like those kind of movies. So I think it's just, it's cool to take an audience for a ride. I think that's the biggest thing for me. And you don't want to be predictable, so you try to find those little nuances within the script that can lead you someplace, but in an unconventional kind of way. And then it's kind of like a surprise for the audience. I gotta tell you, working with Bruce Willis, I mean, you know, where do you start? It's kind of a surreal moment for me. It's kind of like a kid in a candy store. He has actually been amazing. I mean, you know, a guy that's his experience and his talent, it's just, I don't know, I get on set and it's like, wow, it's pretty crazy. But that all said, he comes in and he makes, you know, what was written so much better. You know, he just makes me better as a filmmaker, makes the script better, and he just, there's just not enough good things to say about what he does, you know. And I think that the general public doesn't get to see that, but to work that closely with them and the little things that he does, you go, wow, man, that's incredible. You know, it's like every day I become better. When I leave this job, I'll be definitely a better filmmaker, you know, because of him solely. And it's really just been an honor to get this opportunity. Well, Curtis he's just a completely different animal. I mean, he is a machine when it comes to dedication, work. I mean, after work, we'll get together and work more on the script. He's all about excellence. And second place is not in his vocabulary at all. He wants to be the best. And whatever that takes, whatever energy, effort, commitment, he's gonna put it out there to make sure that happens. So, I mean, as a director, it's kind of like the biggest blessing, because he's leading your ship. He's the lead actor of this movie, and he's carrying it. So he sets the precedent for everyone else to bring their A game as well. He's just a monster talent. I mean, I don't really know what else to say about him. He's just an incredible guy, and I tell you, I don't know if there's any limit for that guy. What an amazing choice. I mean, to me, I feel like I got lucky. I've always been a fan of his. He always plays the pretty boy, preppy, rich kid, and I don't think he's ever got an opportunity to play, you know, a bad guy with the cutting edge, hardened. So to me, this is really him. And I mean, I can't say enough good things about that guy. I mean, he comes to set and he is just fucking takes it to a whole different level. He is very good at what he does, and it is a treat to watch him perform. And every take, he'll give you something different, something new, and he just knows the character so well. And I'm really excited for fans to see him do this part. I don't think they've seen this chapter of his life. I think people are going to look at him way differently. I gotta tell you, I mean, working with Randy and George, and I think for me, it was a huge eye-opener. I think they're so savvy at what they do, and they're so experienced what they do. It's stuff that you just want to learn at film school, so I've learned so much from them. They're so good at what they do and how they do it, and I guess I come from the artistic side, and I wasn't necessarily, you know, I didn't understand the business side. So this has been a real eye-opener for me of how the actual business works and how much effort it takes on their end to get even a movie off the ground. I mean, I always, you know, complain about, oh, I didn't get this today, I didn't get that today, or, you know, whether it be a location or, you know, I wanted that actor, but, you know, it didn't work for whatever reason. You know, you forget about how much effort and energy it takes for them to get this movie off the ground, you know, 6 months before I'm even here shooting. So, I mean, hats off to them for doing that. And to be able to see that up close gives me a whole different appreciation for producers, and it definitely gives me a whole different appreciation for what it takes to get a movie made in this town. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Randy's. Obviously, I've watched him fight many times, so to have him come here, he's probably one of the most laid-back guys, and at the same time, you know, could kill you. So it's always that you know, weird dichotomy. But he is you know, he comes from that athletic side, extremely dedicated. So I think it just crosses over to this world, and the transition that he's going to make is going to be phenomenal. So I think he's going to do really, really well on this project. The shooting schedule for me is the biggest challenge. You know, it's 19 days, 18 and a half days. I think that coming from the action world, I'm used to shooting fast, so that definitely I was groomed for this. But it is brutal, and the other X factor of this is obviously the cold. Things move a little slower, you know, when it's snowing outside. But that is probably the biggest challenge to deliver a great movie, a great looking movie, great performances, you have to maximize your day and your time. So you have to be very, very planned out so you get your performances, because you know you're going to run out of sunlight and other things that might come into play. So I think for me, I just go home every night, got my playbook, I come to work, I'm just prepared, and I don't veer off that playbook in order to be able to make this movie on time and on budget with the parameters that I'm given. You know, I hope it takes them for a ride. I think they're going to see, obviously, unbelievable action, but I think most importantly, they're going to see an action movie with a great story and with great performances from the actors. From Ryan Phillippe has just been killing it as his performance. Obviously, Bruce Willis, you know, I mean, he just is so pro, it's ridiculous. And I think that Curtis, people are going to be surprised when they see him and he carries this movie and how great he really is. I think that is, people are going to really enjoy the story, and the action is going to play as a secondary thing. It's like, you know, and I think maybe the action is the reason why they're showing up, but they're going to realize that, you know, it's not really an action movie. It's more of a, you know, good story that has action.
I'm Randy Couture, and I'm playing Petey, and Petey is one of Mr. Biggs's thugs, one of his gangsters. I like the character of Petey. Obviously, it's great to be able to play in a movie with Bruce and 50 Cent, and Petey himself is an interesting guy. You know, he's wants to be the boss someday, and he thinks he's pretty sharp, pretty smart, but he does some pretty silly things, and ultimately, you know, is enamored with guns and stuff, and ends up shooting himself, which made me laugh. I thought it was a pretty interesting way to go out. I just came off doing The Expendables with Stallone, which was, you know, we played mercenaries, packed around all kinds of weapons, and shot a lot, blew a lot of stuff up and throughout the course of that movie. So I think we'll be all right with the gangsters and the pistols. Well, yeah, we're not exactly in sunny Las Vegas right now. It's about, I don't know, 25 or 26 degrees today outside. Fortunately, we're shooting inside today, so it's not really an issue. There's a little bit of snow. There's been some flurries the last couple days. I think it makes it interesting. Today is really the first day of shooting for me, for Petey and my character, and it's been a lot of fun kind of getting up to speed, getting a chance to see both how the director Mike works, how Bruce works, and see Curtis, you know, 50 Cent, what he's up to and how he's working. It's a learning experience for me, and that's what I'm here to try and learn as much as possible. I like the character of Petey because he's kind of quirky. He thinks he's smart, but you know, he's really a big dumb thug, and ultimately that's his undoing. So I think everybody else is going to get a chuckle out of Petey as well. This is my ninth motion picture. The last couple years have been pretty good. I've had the opportunity to be in a few bigger films like this film. You know, again, it's a learning process for me. I think a lot of people still look at me as an athlete, and they're not really seeing me as an actor yet. So to get to play a little bit of a character role like Petey, you know, he does some physical stuff, obviously, but he definitely has some character. Is good experience for me. The stuff we shot today was you know, Curtis's character, Sonny, kind of being reeled in by Mr. Biggs. He's been out messing up things around town for Mr. Biggs, and Mr. Biggs is kind of PO'd about it. So he to make things even, he basically sending Sonny out to do a job, and that's what we shot today. Well, I think if you you know, you name kind of the three big action stars of the 80s and early 90s, there's Sly Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Bruce Willis. The Die Hard series, one of my favorite movies of all time, and so to get an opportunity to work with Bruce is a huge honor. I met Curtis one other time around a fight, and you know, I think he in some ways is in a similar position to me. I think people still look at him as a musician and a rap star. They're not really looking at him yet as a bona fide actor, and so he's kind of overcoming the same hurdles that I find myself as an athlete making that transition to as well, and I think he's doing a great job.
My name is Matthew Stratton. My job here is assistant prop master and the armorer. I'm in charge of all weapons use of weapons, safe handling by the actors and the crew.
Relax. I can handle a fucking gun.
The complexity of this movie is it actually has nothing to do with the bullet or the use of the weapons as far as shootings go. Everybody seems to be getting beat with a gun.
The fuck do you think you're talking to?
We have to come in with rubber versions where you could hit somebody with it. It's a lot softer.
Are you done with your speech?
What we have a lot of people being pistol whipped, beaten in the face,
How you doing in there?
hit across the head.
Sleepy time.
And that's the complexities of it, is finding a rubber variant of any of these weapons.
It's not my fucking problem.
We have grips that are right now been hand carved, which I hand carved, and those are going to be for Biggs, the other main character in this. His weapon is a PT-92 AFS from Taurus. This is Vince's gun in the film. SIG 1911. This is made by Sig Sauer, high nickel chrome polish. Pearl glazed grips. It has a competition backstrap safety with a dovetail, and that's for protection where the hammer comes down. Very eye-catching, but at the same time, Vince's character also, you know, he likes to have things that are unseen. One of the things that we use in this film that he kills our diamond merchant's hitman, Roth, is he uses a weapon that's extremely exotic, and that's the Ithaca model. This one was supplied to us from weapons specialists out of New York. This weapon was specifically designed and built by them for the movie Miami Vice. When they made this weapon and it showed in Miami Vice, the Secret Service actually approached them to have them build these for Secret Service to carry on their person. Frank, the character who plays Frank, his weapon of choice is a Smith & Wesson M&P. He stands for military and police. More high-tech, sleek, and sexy looking. As opposed to Petey's character.
I get you $2 million and you still gonna shoot me?
No. But I can't watch you and drive this car at the same time. I need that other gun.
Who carries the standard GI issue, just like in World War II. And then Sonny.
You get that door for me, big man?
Who is the hero of the movie, and his weapon of choice is the Bernard 92 FS. The weapons used during the Diamond Heist, talking about exotics, we had in play on this set 2 H&K MP5K, and K denotes the pistol, or PD and PDW, which is the personal defense weapon. These are used by SWAT teams for close quarters combat inside of a house. You could fold the stock back, be uptight. It's 9mm, it's full automatic. Your rate of fire, a full 30-round clip will last you 2.5 seconds. So our action sequence of Sonny and Vincent shooting out the storefront windows, it's with one clip between the two of them, they just do a lot of mayhem and a lot of damage. But there's nothing really too fancy, too exotic, too weird. Wanted, we used weird weapons, but this one is more about meat and potatoes, working blue-collar man trying to make it big with a diamond score.